Marriage, annulment, and legal separation. The first question you've got to ask is, are you married? Did you go through a ceremony? Who presided at the ceremony? We have a statute in Tennessee that has specific requirements for who can preside at your marriage. We have 2 Attorney General opinions and a amended statute that all seem to say that if it's a universal life minister, that ain't gonna work. Now, you can go through a ceremony with anybody presiding at the ceremony you want, okay? Up to and including your favorite dog. But you've got to have somebody off in the wings who is either a minister of a reasonably recognized church who has gone through reasonable efforts to secure their authority as a minister, or one of an extensive list of civil officers who can marry you. Judges do it day after day down at the circuit courthouse and up in Chancery Court. So you don't have to have religion at your marriage, but you can't have a joke as your marriage. So even though you might want to use your favorite dog or your most humorous friend to preside over the ceremony, you got to do it right as well. So the first question you have to ask is, are you married? The other reason you may not be married when you think you are is that, like real estate lawyers talking about a title to a piece of property being clear, your spouse may have married you without a clear title. Your spouse has to have not been married or gotten divorced from their previous spouse at the time you marry them. They can't have an existing marriage. If they do, they can't get married to you. And in those cases where there isn't a marriage, you file for annulment. There are also other grounds for filing for annulment, but this is very significant. If there's no marriage, there's no alimony. There's still going to be child support. The court's going to look out after the children of the relationship, but there's not going to be alimony. We're litigating a case right now where there are hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake on the issue of, are they married? So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about getting married, really you need to have the appropriate minister or other judge or whoever you get to perform a little ceremony over the side and sign the marriage license. And then you're okay. Okay, annulment. Annulment is where the marriage is void or voidable. If you marry your cousin in close enough, if you marry your brother or sister, that's void. It's always going to be void. There's nothing you can do to fix that. Voidable is if you marry a 16-year-old, AKA Jerry Lewis. Well, she can go to court and she can get that marriage annulled till she's 18 or 19. And then after she's of age and didn't do anything, that marriage defect is cured, okay? So that's where an annulment comes in. It voids the marriage to begin with. In our case where we were talking about the marriage not taking place and the people thinking they were married, the annulment goes down, and you also have a petition for partition to divide whatever assets these people got together. The last thing is legal separation. People are always asking about, well, I don't think I want to get divorced, but I can't live with them, so I want a legal separation. First, let's delve a little bit into the history of legal separation. Again, the context you find yourself in is Memphis, Rivertown, 1820. You're a very Catholic wife. Your church has prohibited divorce. Your husband is an abusive alcoholic. It's not safe for you or the children to be in the same house with him, but you risk everlasting damnation if you get divorced. So what's your option? Legal separation. The court can separate the parties without declaring a divorce, can separate the parties without declaring a divorce, and provide for support and maintenance, and in some cases, divisions of assets. Now, after a few years of separation, the excluded spouse can come back and say, okay, we've been living 2 years separate and apart, I want a divorce now. And that can go through. But remember, now the whole time, the innocent wife has been protected by the courts. Having said that, there are relatively few reasons for legal separation in modern society. For the longest time, we had insurance captives. In other words, the husband was working, the wife got cancer, the husband was messing around, was mean to her, but if she got divorced, she lost her coverage. Congress passed the Consolidated Omnibus, Congress passed COBRA, and COBRA provided for an extension of coverage for up to 36 months in those situations. Tennessee had already passed a similar version that provided for a shorter time. If you don't have enough employees to qualify under the federal program, the Tennessee threshold is a smaller bunch of people, but it's not for as long. That did away with a lot of the modern need for legal separation. So, are you married? Is there bigamy? Was the marriage performed incorrectly, so badly incorrectly that it's voided? Do you need an annulment? Do you qualify for an annulment? Do you need or qualify for legal separation? Or is it appropriate to just get divorced? When you're looking at getting a legal separation and going through the litigation for that, and then you're looking to get divorced too, you're looking at 2 trips instead of 1. That's going to spend money that doesn't need to be spent. So that's why I generally recommend, when you're looking at those situations, 99 times out of 100, the appropriate answer is divorce. Thank you very much. And if you want some more information about divorce, please look at our website, aboutdivorce.com.